Kick off fall and kick off happiness with Schafferhofer Grapefruit and Pomegranate Beer. Log on to kickoffhappiness.com for your chance to win a cool custom cooler with Schafferhofer swag, including your favorite team's jersey. Look for the Schafferhofer displays at your local retailers for great savings on Schafferhofer Grapefruit and Pomegranate. And learn more about the sweepstakes at kickoffhappiness.com. See site for official rules. Must be 21 or older. Brewed and bottled in Germany. Imported by Radeberger Group USA, Norwalk, Connecticut. Always enjoy responsibly.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Whatever We Have in Stock Are Us, your one-stop place to shop for whatever we happen to have lying around at the time.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infinium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Good morning. Welcome to Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays until I come up with a better name with Teamus Wooten. Teamus, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
I'm great, Dave. Looking forward to this new segment. I'm excited. Let's talk baseball.
Yeah, for people who are not familiar with what's going on, we just started this podcast, so we've had a lot of popularity with the Chicago baseball one we've been doing. And Teamus, diehard Red Sox fan, will be with us every week. Today, Thursday, we're doing it at 10 a.m. Eastern. Going forward, we're going to do it on Monday, okay? So that's where we're at on that. And while we do this, once again, got to remember to do this every time. All right, so welcome to Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays. As I just hit the record button, we're going to do this live, but we're also going to put the recording up every day or every show. Mondays, 10 a.m. Eastern is when we'll be doing it from now on. Today, Thursday, June 3rd is our first show. So to catch everyone up to speed, that's what's going on with this show. Teamus, Red Sox fan, Angelo will be joining us in a couple of shows. He is a big Yankees fan, lives up in Connecticut, diehard Yankees fan. He will be joining us. He is a school teacher, so he is unable to do this without some threat of something going on. So I don't know how he's going to Zoom call his school, his kids at school, and have another device set up and be talking Yankees baseball off to the side. So we decided not to get him fired. So that's what we're doing today. Teamus, first show we've done this year. You haven't been on the Armchair Quarterbacks live, but a couple of times this year. So for all intents and purposes, I haven't talked to you about this in quite some time. How pleasantly surprised are you with your Red Sox, considering the fact that they're sitting in second place? They've got a puncher's chance now to make the playoffs. What say you?
Thrilled. Honestly, we had discussed at the beginning of the season, nobody expected this. I mean, the Red Sox know, I knew what all. No, nobody knew this. nobody thought, we thought third place at best coming into the season. Still, have I drank the Kool-Aid yet on this team? No. But you said it best. There is a puncher's chance now. We're 2 months in. I mean, the All-Star breaks next month. So the fact that we're hanging in there, I mean, we were in first for several weeks. This could go, if we catch lightning in a bottle at the right time, if we get hot at the right time, we could go deep into the playoffs. I did not think I would be saying that about the Red Sox this season, and probably next season, honestly. But, Bloom moved some pieces around, and it seems to be working so far.
Yeah, he's done a lot with the little. And look, I told people at the beginning of the year, I thought the Red Sox were going to be decent. Everyone had them down as the last place team in the division, maybe above Baltimore. And I simply didn't see it because the offense is too good. It just is. The Red Sox offense, I felt like could carry them. And all they had to do was get a much better bullpen that they had last year, which wasn't going to take much, right? And to get solid starting pitching, and that's what they've done. I mean, you've got to love what Garrett Richards has brought to the table in Boston.
Yeah, that was a surprise as well. There have been several surprises. One, I didn't know nothing. Like when the season started, I kept, who are these people? I knew hardly anybody on the Red Sox, and I study them in the off season and everything. We know their Red Sox fans know the players' wives' names. This season I had no idea who half these guys were. I knew nothing about Garrett Richards, nothing at all. And, but he has stepped it up. In the last, Erod started out very, very strong. He struggled as of late, but he came out, he was 4-0 at one point. Evaldi is still throwing, 200 miles an hour. And then we have this guy down in Lakeland who, if we're still in it and he's able, named Chris Sale.
They're looking at him to be with the team in about a month, right?
It's, sounding like July. Yes.
Yeah. So
and if he can be,
my best guess on that will be shortly after the All-Star break, because you're not going to rush back before the All-Star break, because then he's got to shut down and go. No, you're going to.
There's no reason. No, I'd probably say a couple of weeks after the All-Star break.
That's a hell of a trade acquisition, is what that is.
Yeah, it's basically we picked up an excellent pitcher at the trade deadline. It's kind of the way it's going to feel. And I mean, who knows what Chris Sale we're going to see, if it's, if he comes out throwing darts or if he still is skittish. A lot of guys that come off Tommy John, they don't want to come out full blast right off the bat because they just don't know. But knowing Chris Sale as the competitor, he's probably going to go out there and say, all right, well, I'm Chris Sale and you're not. So it's going to be very, very interesting. If we can hang in to have a playoff shot and then Chris Sale comes back, look out division, I think.
Yeah, look, you add him, assuming they don't have the issues that Soroka's had coming back, and and he's ready to go. It's been quite a while since his injury anyway, so I would think that he's fully recovered, and there's not good. I felt like that they try to rush back Soroka from Atlanta a little too quick.
The Sox did not rush back Sale.
Right.
That's
They're going to get a big boost. Yankees are going to get a big boost because Severino has started throwing as well. I think he's going to come back because remember the injuries happen really close to each other. I think Severino is probably going to be coming back around the same time. He might beat Sale back by like a week or so, but whatever. At that point, you're splitting hairs. These two teams are going to add two of the best pitchers in baseball to their roster. So they're just trying to wade water right now because the Tampa Bay Rays, though they lost to New York last night in the Bronx, really good game for people that missed it. The Tampa Bay Rays have been scalding hot.
Yeah,
and
they forgot how to lose.
Everyone killed their front office for getting rid of Snell. Know what I'm saying? for getting rid of for getting rid of some of the other pieces. And what have they done? You know, they didn't re-sign Charlie Morton. Bullet dodge there. I can tell you that right now from Braves country. And I joke because I know that Morton is what he is. He's a solid pitcher. He's going to pitch well, but they didn't waste the money on him. So here's what you got in Tampa. You've got a first place team who's playing really well with the young talent that they have. They've won 7 of their last 10, but more importantly, they've only lost like 4 or 5 games in the last 20-ish.
Yeah, there's 16 out of their last 18, if I did my math correct. 16 out of 19.
Yeah.
That's a good run
right.
for any ball club. Yeah.
Right. 16 and 19 because of the last night.
Because they lost last night
right.
and the night before. But yeah.
Right. But you're talking about a team that still has a 2-game lead on Boston, a 3.5-game lead on New York, which nobody saw coming. Preseason, everyone had the Yankees running away with the division. I never thought it was going to be that way because I don't know why this is, Teamus, but it gets ignored every single freaking year. The Yankees starting pitching is suspect. And when you have starting pitching that you can't rely on, you're putting a lot of pressure on that bullpen and that offense. And once again, Giancarlo Stanton, the guy's made of freaking peanut brittle. When he's in, he usually takes him a couple weeks to get going. And then by the time he gets going, he gets injured again. Same thing with Aaron Judge. I mean, I've never seen baseball players where they talk about load management. And that's what Brett Boone is doing with Aaron Judge. It seems like once or twice a week you see he's not playing today just because, getting him some rest. I'm like, that dude is in his mid-20s, and he plays right field. You act like he's out there, like he's the starting running back for your team, and you got to play Sunday and Thursday. You got to get him some rest. What the hell are we talking about?
Yeah, and the Yankees, I was one of those people. I thought they would be 6-7 games up at this point. I was one of those people that thought the Yankees.
I thought this was a loaded division. Outside of Baltimore's still doing their full rebuild. Toronto's good. I mean, Toronto's 29-25. A lot of teams that would sell their soul for that right now.
Right. Toronto is basically the Rays of every other year. Do I think Toronto's going to win it all? No. But does anybody want to play them in that division? No. That's usually the way we looked at the Rays. We didn't think the Rays were ever going to win it all. And I know they went to the World Series last year, so take that out of the equation because I don't really count 2020. But before that, the Rays were always the team nobody wanted to play. They always played the division well, but they weren't really going.
I bet you Red Sox fans don't count 2020, but it happened. It happened.
Yeah, it happened. But I was on vacation in Baghdad, so I don't count it.
You're just chilling like a villain.
Yes, I was.
Working on that tan.
My King of the Hill tan, still good. The Yankees, though, they're a lot streakier than I had anticipated. That's kind of their identity is when they're winning, they look like the Yankees, but when they're not, but you're right, it's pitching that's doing it. When they go on these losing streaks, their starting pitching isn't doing well. It's exactly the problem, which is the problem for every baseball team. I'm not saying that the Yankees are unique in that way, but it's very clear their pitching is suspect for sure. The Sox, as far as if we're talking identities, I don't know. They kind of remind me of the 04 team because people only remember the comeback in playoffs and all that stuff. But the 04 team started out, we were 500 at the All-Star break. And then we traded Nomar and got Minkiewicz and Cabrera. And then the hair thing started. They had that whole thing. And then we just took off. This team, there's really no
laundry basket thing. What the hell's that laundry basket thing about going on the diet?
They started it last year because they had 7.
I thought last year didn't count.
Well, I don't think it does, but they did it last year a couple of times and they kept it going this year. Who's the face of the Red Sox, though? I mean, it's not. I mean, because there's no real major.
Santana, by God.
So I mean, is it Xander? He's the longest tenured Red Sox.
I think it's Xander, and I think it's JD Martinez. I think it's a combination of those two. And then when you get to the next layer, obviously Chris Sale when he's healthy, but the other face of the team that I still think has untapped talent that has played okay this year, but he's much better than what his numbers are currently is Rafael Devers.
Well, I mean, Devers has got almost 50 RBIs already. He's a hitter. Is he a third baseman? Yeah, I mean, JD is fantastic and everything, but you can't tell if he's awake unless he's got a bat in his hand.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to knock Devers' season so far. What I'm saying is I think Devers is actually better than a 296 hitter. I think he's actually better than what is his actual. He's 296 away. I stumbled on a weird page. I don't know what the hell they got going on here. But anyways, Devers I think is actually better than what he is, even though he's played okay this year. I think he's actually much better. Because last year, he was a guy that was on fire. And remember the year before he couldn't hit water falling out of a boat?
Yeah. I mean, well, and he was also 19 then? He's only like 22, 23 now.
Yeah. So to my point, he's hitting 278 right now, 296 on the road. It's really strange that his batting average would be much lower in Fenway because it's a hitter's park. He does have 14 home runs, 43 RBI. You like that? I just think that he's a guy that can be even better, which is scary. Xander Bogaerts is just unreal right now. He's one of my favorite players to watch in all of baseball.
Yeah. I'm just like, we don't have that big personality on that team this year so far. We don't have a Poppy or a Manny, thank God, or like a Mookie, always the big way. But they find a way to win. And so it is made for a very interesting team to watch, even though I may not know everything about the players like I normally do. Because it's just interesting.
Who is your MVP now? I think it's got to be JD Martinez right now, right?
It was JD or Xander. Yeah.
Between the two of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course,
it would be hard for me to dismiss Xander, but I think if I had to pick one, it'd be Martinez. Yeah. But Xander's there, he's good in this. He's good up the middle. He's a decent glove. And can hit, and he's fast. It'd be hard for me to say anybody but Xander, but if I did, it would be JD.
Switching gears to the Yankees, excuse me. They can't keep Luke Voit healthy, which has been an issue. DJ LeMahieu's had a little. He's evidently human, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Because LeMahieu the last couple of seasons has been phenomenal in pinstripes. This year he's a little more of what everyone thought he was, but it's still early. I still think DJ LeMahieu is one of the more polished hitters in baseball. But Gleyber Torres has been an absolute disaster defensively.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how much more you can put up on or put up with his terrible defense, because is his offense worth his defense? And right now, I'm not sure it is.
That's a uphill argument to make. That, what's his average? I haven't looked, but
never ask a question you don't know the answer to. That's the number one rule of radio. But it is 266. He's hit much better recently. He was he was down there below the Mendoza line there for the longest time. So
Yeah.
recently, I don't have his splits in front of me, but recently he has actually hit much better. But 266 with only 2 home runs. He just got his first home run recently. It's been like the past couple of weeks. Okay. That's a terrible look for a guy who's supposed to be there for his offense. And he just flat out, when did he get his first home run? Was it May 9th? May 9th was his first home run. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 5-6 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about a guy that's supposed to be there for offense, because his defense has just been trash. He's starting to remind me of damn Chuck Knobloch out there playing defense. And in fact, Knobloch's a little better because at least he'd catch the ball. He'd throw it into the stands, but he'd catch the ball. I think they really have to think about, what is this kid now? He's 25. They need to really think about making a move for a shortstop if they want to be real contenders for an actual World Series title like Yankee fans think that they should be.
Yeah, because, in shortstop, it's such an important position, and we don't expect him to be Derek Jeter or anything like. Nobody's saying that, but you need a strong shortstop to, they run the infield, and they're kind of the captain of that little ship in there. I don't know. You can only go so long, and Boone seems to be I don't know. It doesn't really seem like Boone minds that much. So, I don't know. I would have probably talked to the front office and said, hey, how much longer do you want me to go with this guy? And maybe he's done that. We don't know. But
I'm not sold on Boone. I think Boone is terrible. I really do. I think he is a yes man to the analytic army that they have hired with the Yankees, and a lot of guys have become that. I beat up on a lot of other managers, but Boone is the analytical antithesis of what people gave Kevin Cash a hard time about last fall. Remember when he pulled Snell, and Snell was pitching so well, and a lot of people feel like that it might have cost the Rays a chance to win the World Series. This is every day with Boone. And like I said, he's been doing the load management thing. It's just a disaster at this point. The Rays at this point, we'll switch gears real quick, and then we'll jump on to the Yankees Red Sox, which takes place this weekend. The Rays real quick, because I don't want to skip past them. They've been doing on pitching and timely hitting. They are not tearing the cover off the ball. They're not putting an exorbitant amount of runs up, but the runs they get in, they make them count. And it looks like Feierreisen is going to be the closer going forward. He's still listed as the setup man in most depth charts, but he's gotten the last 3 saves for the Rays. And it's always hard to predict what the Rays are going to do with their bullpen. But when you've got guys like Diego Castillo, Feierreisen, Peter Fairbanks, they've even put Michael Walker in there as a long man for when they do bullpen games. And they're out there, essentially, their starting rotation is Tyler Glasnow and Rich Hill. The other 3 guys, Yarborough, McClanahan, and Fleming, they're expected to go like 3 innings. If they get 4, that's great. And then they just unload their bullpen. But they're getting great production out of their hit. Randy Arozarena carried that offense for about a month. And that has a lot to do with why they were scoring enough runs to win so many games. That pitching's elite. And that's going to be the problem. I don't think the Rays are going away. Hey,
I don't either. And here's the thing. I heard yesterday, they've already, they play the Yankees 6 series a year. This is the 4th. So the Yankees don't play the Rays, but 2 more times the rest of the season.
Right.
So the Rays keep moving forward. It's going to be that much more difficult for the Yankees to make up any ground on them, And we haven't even played the Yankees yet. So the second half, I mean, this was a weird season. It's June and the Red Sox Yankees haven't played each other yet. I don't understand how that happened. But the Rays and the Yankees have been living at each other's house this entire season.
Well, I honestly believe that was by design with the Yankees and Red Sox, because I really believe, because if you look at some of the rivalries in the Northeast and in the blue states politically, I believe that they intentionally at MLB made sure that the Yankees and Red Sox wouldn't play until they waited till June. They were hoping to get more COVID restrictions lifted in New York and in Massachusetts, because they want to put butts in the seats. You don't want a Yankees Red Sox rivalry in April and you got a bunch of stupid, cardboard boxes out there in the outfield again. Now we can get some, I don't know what the actual restrictions are right now, but you should get a decent crowd.
Fenway's at full capacity now.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because every time I think I see that a team is at full capacity, all of a sudden they're not.
No, as of May 29th, if I'm not mistaken, 28th or 29th, Fenway went back to 100%.
Okay, so I believe every time I think New York is, and they say, oh yeah, and I had heard that there was going to be New York last weekend, Memorial Day weekend was going to be putting all the butts in the seats, right? And then I watched a Mets game, and you could see empty seats everywhere. I'm like, that can't be, because they're not interested in the ball game, because the Mets are in first place in New York City. There's no way in hell they're just not going to the game, right? And so I'm not sure about New York, but this series that we are referring to, that's taking place in Fenway, no?
No.
It's in New York?
Friday, we got a 3-game series at New York.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday.
So why the hell were you bringing up Fenway? Who gives a damn what they're doing in Fenway if they're not going to be playing in Fenway this weekend?
Well, you asked what you weren't sure what the capacity
I thought you were alluding that, because I thought it was in the Bronx, but then when you said that, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not in the Bronx. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Every time they say there's going to be full capacity, it seems like there's always a reason why there's not. Now, with the NBA, when I see the Knicks games on, I know there's not full capacity, A, because no one gives a crap about it anymore, and B, the NBA is actually blocking off seats. So they were only letting seats in on one side of the arena. Don't get me started on why the hell, if you're going to have seats, fans that stands on one side of the arena, why isn't that where the cameras are at, right? Why am I looking at a bunch of yesterday's game? I know this is off topic, but yesterday's game, there were the players, and behind the players, there were a bunch of fake cardboard boxes or whatever the hell sitting behind them. Like, and they would pan away and go to commercial break. I'm like, you see full capacity on fans sitting on the other side. I'm like, why the hell aren't we looking at that side? Because basketball is like football. It doesn't matter what side of the field that you're broadcasting on, right?
Right.
It's not like baseball where you're like, okay, we're going to get the full shot of the most fans. Unfortunately, we're going to be behind the pesky pole. It's just, anyways. All right. So with that being said, Yankees, Red Sox this weekend, because we got to start wrapping this up. It is in Fenway. Okay.
No,
I'm sorry. Bronx. It is in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that right now and trying to get an updated. I swear they take forever to update these damn pitching rotations, but it looks like that. Pull it up real quick so I can get it.
We have Evaldi throwing on Friday.
Well, the first thing I was going to say was that the Red Sox are going to dodge Cole, because Cole is pitching today. So the worst thing that can happen to you is for that game to get rained out. Okay, I'm just going to.
Which is at 1:00 today, and I haven't checked the weather in New York.
Yankee fans are starting a rain dance right now. Even though they want to beat Tampa, they'd much rather have Cole going up against Evaldi. The Yankees have yet to determine who their starter is.
Yeah, they don't have a starter for Friday. We've got Evaldi, Erod, and Garrett Richards.
We'll figure that out in a minute. On Saturday, Erod is going up against Tyon, which advantage Red Sox. Even though it's in the Bronx, Erod, although he's struggled a little bit this year with his 5.64 ERA, Tyon is garbage. Every time I watch him pitch, I'm like this guy, he's not the answer. And then Sunday night, we get Garrett Richards versus Domingo Germán. That's a great pitchers matchup. That should be a great game. Now to try to find out,
give the advantage to in that game though. In Sunday nights,
Domingo Germán because he's at home, but that's the only reason.
That's fair.
If the game was being played in Boston, I would say Richards. Germán has pitched extremely well his last few outings, and so I think it's going a little bit under the radar, but. I play quite a bit of fantasy baseball. I've got him on several of my teams, and he's performed really, really well. So I'm going to have to say that they're both. What'll be interesting is that Richards, which I'm sure this wasn't by mistake, they went out and got Richards. And though there were question marks about him, Timus, I think the most important thing about him, he was a righty. And the Yankees are loaded with right-handed hitters. And so if I'm to guess who the Yankees send out there, it might be Michael King again. It might be a bullpen game on Friday.
Well, let me ask you this. Being you brought up the bullpen, what kind of reaction – I know he was traded. He didn't finish his contract and sign. What kind of reaction from the crowd do you think Avadi's going to get being traded from the Yankees to the Red Sox? Because it's usually vice versa. The Yankees always take our sloppy seconds, but this happened. It was opposite day, I guess, and Avadi's been pitching well. What kind of reaction do you think he's going to get in the Bronx now that he's switched sides?
Well, I don't think he was hated in the Bronx. He just wasn't. He didn't play well in the Bronx. And the Yankees have such a loaded bullpen. They knew that they had options. It was strange to see them move a guy from New York to Boston. You don't normally see that. I'll say
right.
It's really strange.
I don't think it's going to be a thing. Not like when
remember something. He wasn't the most popular Yankee in history. And I'll tell you why. He made the comment shortly after he signed with New York a couple of years ago that he would strike out Babe Ruth every time.
Well,
because
you can't say that.
he was you can't say that in Boston either. But you can't say that. You can't say that in anywhere because he's an idiot. He's an idiot. That's why I've never liked him, because he's one of these, oh man, because I throw in the 90s and I'd strike him out every single time. And blah, 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 blah. No, you wouldn't, son. No, you wouldn't. And then he went out and followed that up by having a terrible year. So he wasn't the most popular player in the Bronx to begin with. And so you kind of add that to it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a thing, but I was just curious if there would even be a reaction.
Yeah, he's not Aaron Judge. He's not Aaron Judge. He's not some of these.
Right.
He's not one of these guys that was like the franchise name, the franchise.
He's not Boggs.
It was different when Damon went to the Bronx. Boggs went to the Bronx. Babe Ruth went to the Bronx. It's different in that perspective. But it'll be more interesting to me to see how he performs as opposed to how he's received.
I agree. Yeah,
he goes out there and pitches really well. They're going to be like, "Damn it, Cashman! The hell did you do?" And it'll just, it'll be it.
And if pitches poorly, they're going to be like, "Cashman's a genius." Oh, well done. Yeah, we all knew that. Yeah.
By the way, if it makes Yankees and Red Sox fans feel any better, this weekend, the Rays are in Texas. I smell a winning streak. We got to go ahead and start getting out of here. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Well, Sox, we got to beat the Yankees, and we don't need to just beat the Yankees. We need this series. I think this series is going to be a big tattletale where our pitching staff is right now, and if a couple of our batters can pop out of this slump that they're in, now's the time to do it. This will be a telling series. It's not October. I know that. I don't want to oversell it, but I'm excited. It's been a while since Yankees, Red Sox, that both teams have been good, and let's slug it out, man. Let's get it done and beat those damn Yankees.
My walk-off for the day is we will have a diehard Yankee fan coming, so bear with us. He's been here in a couple of shows. It's waiting for the school season to end, so that'll be a lot of fun. The Rays Yankees today, Yarborough versus Cole. It's a big game for the Yankees. They need to win and kind of solidify and get a little closer. If the Rays can pull off the upset against Garrett Cole, look out. I just don't see it happening. Yarborough, I don't expect him to go more than about 3 innings against that right-handed lineup. That southpaw is going to start getting lit up the second time through. Cole with his 1.78 ERA, I expect him to go 6-7 innings. And then, of course, Martin Perez versus Jake Odorizzi today. That should be a lot of fun at 2 o'clock. There's a lot of good afternoon baseball. We will be back Monday, this coming Monday. So what is that, June 6th? Is that the 6th or the
No, 7th.
7th, I'm sorry. June 7th. We will be back June 7th, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, live here, and we'll be here for the rest of the summer for the foreseeable future on for lack of a better term right now, we're going to call it Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays, but we hope to come up with a better name. So, I just want people to be able to find us. I don't want to come up with it too cute, talking Veritech or some crap, and people are like, what the hell am I listening to? All right. Great job, Teamus. We'll see you Monday.
All right.
Oh, I'm going to have an actual song for us, too. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but
Hey, even Walt Disney failed on the first day.